Tonight on Paranormal.
It is Monday, April 23rd, and we are in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, on our way over to check out Hill View Manor. Both heard a lot of really cool things about this place. They've reported everything from shadow figures, full-bodied apparitions, doors and objects moving by themselves, flashing lights. We're going to be spending 3 nights investigating Hill View Manor, so we've got some real time to try to study these reports, break these claims down, and really see if we can figure out what's going on out there. My name is Nick Smith-Koblitz, and I'm the founder of Crypto Paranormal Investigations. CPI is a research organization I formed in 2004 to study claims of paranormal activity and allegedly haunted locations through an objective and scientific lens. Unlike a lot of groups in the field, my team isn't interested in just capturing something interesting on video or audio and saying it's paranormal activity. We try to take allegedly haunted locations and the claims of activity there and really put them to the test to try to figure out what's truly going on.
I'm Miranda Arthur Smith, and I'm the tech specialist for CPI. Hill View Manor used to be a nursing home, and I actually wound up picking it like years and years ago. I was like, ooh, nursing home, let's do it.
Hill View Manor has become one of Pennsylvania's paranormal destinations over the past few years because of the popularity of reality television shows. And I was definitely excited to see what we would find.
I'm pretty excited. We've been waiting long enough.
I know.
We got here like 2 days ago. It's so weird.
3 years of planning, and you picked this one,
Yeah.
so better be worth it. That's all I gotta say.
Oh,
That's gotta be it.
is. Whoop, there it is.
Holy shit, look at this place. Wow. Well, I guess we better go in and see who's gonna meet us and take our tour. When we arrived at the location, we were met by Rochelle, the location manager, and Jim, one of the tour guides, who showed us around and filled us in on some more of the building's history, as well as the alleged paranormal activity there. Opened in 1926 as the Lawrence County Home for the Aged, or the Poor Farm, as it became known among locals, the facility was a catch-all for the elderly, destitute, mentally ill, and a dumping ground for those too sick or unwanted by society.
We had ex-prisoners here, we had mentally ill patients here, we had tuberculosis patients here, homeless families, families with children, just children. So it was like just a mix of everything.
For its first 18 years, the facility was managed by Perry and Mary Schneider, who lived on site with their 2 children and 12 staff members. In the 1940s, control of the facility was handed over to the county, and by the 1960s had been transformed into a skilled nursing facility. By the 1970s, however, the Lawrence County home faced overcrowding issues, and the building was expanded, adding a 3rd floor and new nursing wing, one north. The new wing opened in 1977, and the building was renamed Hill View Manor. Reports of strange phenomenon have existed since the facility was in operation, nurses and employees reporting flashing lights and strange sounds, and several patients, during the Hillview years, reported seeing the apparition of a small boy roaming the halls. Hillview Manor continued to function as a nursing home until 2004, when the county closed the facility. All staff and residents gone, the massive building sat vacant. Thieves broke in and made off with $100,000 worth of copper pipes and wires. But in 2005, new owners arrived. Their intent had been to convert the building into apartments, but it seems the spirit of Hillview wished to endure. The plan was scrapped, and the building was reopened as a haunted attraction. This is one north.
This is one north. Before we had the exit signs, I experienced like really pronounced shadows coming up the hallway. And then when we got the exit signs, they aren't so pronounced because it's brighter, I guess. But you don't feel fooled by what you're seeing. You know what I mean? You really know what you're seeing when you see it. And I've watched them come out of doorways, walk up the hallway. Usually they're look like they're on the handrail.
How tall?
Average size. The one that, when we were up by the nurse's station that one time that I saw come out of a doorway and come towards me and then I jumped across the hall was probably about her size.
Okay. Transparent, or do they look dense?
It was just a black, like if you're standing in a really dark with very little light, it looked like somebody walking at you.
This room right here is what I saw during the day, just like today. I went down to unlock the door and she was down the other end and I was walking back up to see her. When I looked in here, I saw this.
Feet.
Just like this.
Under the curtain.
And I said, come back down here. When we came back, there was nothing there. But I saw black boots and like gray work pants. We also have these papers here. You'll find them on the nurses' stations. These are actually from the building. So these are people who actually stayed in these rooms. So you'll get a name to go with anything. We don't know who anybody passed away.
Never gonna warm up down here. These two rooms were originally built for speech and occupational therapy, but because of funding, it never happened, and instead they became pretty much a catch-all for people's belongings.
That's an awesome TV.
During the tour, Rochelle and Jim were showing us around and we started hearing a buzzing sound.
We stopped probably about midway. All of them had their flashlights on us, like what's going on, what happened. It's haunted. That's the buzzer upstairs. We'll tell you about that in a minute.
Okay.
Oh.
Once you shut that off, I'll play this for you.
Now this could just be the tape. Never had this thing go off before, not this one.
Now that's like a call light?
Yeah, so you pull them
Ah.
and then you push them to shut them off. This had never gone off. I don't know why it was going off, but it happened as soon as I was walking past the steps and came on downstairs. And then same exact thing happened to him a couple days later. He was on the day tour and they were walking back out. It was yesterday. Walking back out and it came on.
As far as it being a paranormal event, I don't necessarily think you could say that. It was held down by a piece of duct tape, which clearly if it's, how often you change the duct tape, it gets unsticky after a while, so there are other factors that you take into consideration. Gave a nice little effect though.
Anyway, this room belonged to a little boy named Jeffrey. We don't know for a fact that it actually belonged to him. It's more evidence that we get. We dubbed it Jeffrey's room.
Okay.
But we do know of two little boys that were brought in when it was a poor farm, a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old. The 12-year-old got adopted out immediately. 9-year-old, we don't have any record of what happened to him. We named him Jeffrey. From the EVPs that we've had.
All right.
Yeah.
EVP stands for electronic voice phenomenon. These are sounds or voices which are imprinted on an audio recording device, like a digital audio recorder, that were not noticed or intended at the time the recording was made. They show up later when you listen to your recordings. A lot of paranormal researchers believe and have speculated these may in fact be spirit voices.
But when it was Hillview, they had numerous people say they saw a little boy and then soon after passed away.
Yeah.
I heard that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when all the lights are on, you're looking down this way, you can see kind of the outside light coming in, and it blacks out sometimes. You can see it looks like something just walking back and forth.
We saw it come like out of the door, but it was avoiding light, but it looked like it came out of the corner and come across the ceiling and down the wall. But it didn't seem like it was avoiding as much light as it could.
That's interesting, all right.
This room belonged to a man by the name of Angelo. He he did hang himself over a door in that doorway. The door's not there now.
Okay.
We don't know exactly why he hung himself, of course, other than I'm sure it was suppression. This is my favorite hallway to come to. We call it the noisy hallway or Angelo's hallway. After about 15, 20 minutes, I tell people, wait up here. This is where you want to wait 15, 20 minutes, give it time. And then you'll start to hear what sounds like just stepping on tiles in the room, sliding, like slippery sliding across the floor, knocks, taps. I mean, we can't come up with a natural cause. It just happens.
This is for the combative patients most of the times. People who just, didn't like to take their pills and a little ornery. Minor surgeries back here in that room. It's the only room in the building that has that kind of tile on the floor and the kind of like marble tile wall. A lot of the stories I found on nurses' records from the third floor of like Joe hit me or Jim bit me or something.
Yeah, they're always fighting like kids.
But the room down there on the far right, we get a lot of shadow activity in that room. The person we talk about mostly down there is Joe Miller. He walked with a walker, so sometimes we'll hear the metallic sounds of like a wheel squeaking or sounds like a walker.
What's it like staying in the building?
It's like my house.
Yeah, it's comfortable here for us. I've been scared out of my wits before, though.
You can hear every
little
like that, and that's what I hear walking. Sounds like it's right up here.
After concluding our tour, we started to bring in and set up all of our cameras and other equipment to monitor the building. We ran 7 static night vision cameras covering the cellar, 1 north, the first floor hallway, 2 east, 2 west, and the 3rd floor, and a thermal imaging camera shooting down 1 north.
On our first night of investigation, our plan was really just to get to know the building and see if we could find any natural explanations for the reports of paranormal activity there. All right, IR on. Hill View Manor is a huge location with reports of paranormal activity throughout. So on the first night of the investigation, our plan was to simply walk around and get to know the place.
Look at that.
Yeah, what's this? This looks like a little medical area.
One thing we noticed during our walkthrough is just how many items are left over from the days when it was in operation. This is a huge psychological trigger and can reinforce the idea of a ghostly presence even if there isn't one. So we are in 1 North doing our first FLIR sweep of the building and just seeing if we can come up with any kind of natural explanations for the reports of activity here at Hill View Manor. And hit some of the rooms just as you walk by.
FLIR cameras stood for forward-looking infrared radar. They're a type of thermal imaging camera. They're used to detect temperature fluctuations. They're pretty useful in the paranormal field, not just for finding cold spots and things like that, but natural explanations, like if there are animals, roosting in a wall or something.
Wait, pan left again? Oh, that's us.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. That's Nick and Miranda.
FLIR cameras can be really tricky to use on investigation, especially if there's lots of windows or reflective surfaces, because it will pick that up.
There's a lot of crazy stuff to reflect on in here.
Mm-hmm. Right? Left?
Right, yeah, you're going the right way. They say that they see people peeking out of rooms down here.
I really wish you guys could capture the smell. Sort of like not as bad as like it is at your grandparents' house. Like it's not that like funky offness.
I get a little bit of a creepy feeling in this room.
Do you?
I do. But I always do from industrial spaces. I think they're a little bit creepy. Just the piping and the boilers and the... This is where like Freddy Krueger likes to hang out.
It's okay, Freddy Krueger's my friend. I could have sworn I just felt a breeze.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where?
On my hand.
Which hand?
The left one I went to go cup under the FLIR. And it felt like a breeze. I mean, it could always be a draft too. There are lots of holes and stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely air moving through this
Yeah.
building.
Yeah. I think that might have been what it was in there. Because I sort of just felt it again.
On the second night, our plan was to begin focused investigations of the building's hotspots, the places where most of the phenomenon has been experienced. After taking a set of baseline readings throughout the location, we decided to begin our observations in 1 North, where shadow figures have been witnessed.
We're nurses.
The nursing station. Well, this is covered in water. I just sat in water.
Yummy.
My ass is soaked wet. A lot of dripping and creaking.
Yeah.
Good evening. If there's anybody here with us this evening, my name's Nick, and this is my friend Miranda. If there's anybody here with us, would you be able to tell us your name, please?
Do you like when people come and visit you? Do any of you still have family here in Newcastle?
The dripping is so loud and echoes so much, I could easily see how that could be mistaken for footsteps or knocking sounds or something like that.
Yeah.
Quiet night on the ward. Do you think you're gonna head back to control? Still got a moist butt.
We took another set of baseline readings, then separated to conduct solo investigations on the 2nd floor. I went to 2 East and sat in 208, or Jeffrey's room, where it said there is a spirit of a young boy. And Nick went to 2 West on the opposite side of the building. Do you like when people come and talk to you? Is there anything you'd like to do? We could maybe play catch if you wanted. I know it's late. Or I could read you this book.
Keep hearing stuff coming from the direction of the kitchen.
Mama kisses baby's hair. Mama llama goes downstairs.
Keep hearing movement coming from that end of the hallway. Keep hearing little pops and creaks. But I think it's just the building.
If you liked the book, or me reading the book, maybe you can walk by one of these meters and show me a sign that maybe you liked it.
Could you come shake my hand, please? Okay, that was a loud noise. That was coming from over there. What the hell was that? Hello? Miranda, come in, over.
Yep.
Did you just make a noise?
No, I did not.
I'm hearing banging sounds coming from the direction of the lounge at the end of 2 West.
I can't hear anything from over here.
Anybody down in the lounge? That was loud. That sounded like someone banging a dumpster or a trash can or something. Definitely metallic. This is a trippy hallway. I'm hearing stuff all over the place. On the final day of the investigation, we wanted to try and figure out what had made the sounds on the second floor the night before, particularly the loud bang. We thought maybe it had been the garbage getting picked up, but the dumpster was still full the next day. We decided to hit 2 West with everything we had that night. We set up multiple cameras, audio recorders, an array of sensors at both ends of the hallway, as well as thermal imaging and our parabolic microphone.
Just a mental note, you can see your shadow of you in the boom mic right on the door.
Good evening. My name's Nick.
I'm Miranda.
Is there anybody here right now? I think I may have heard you when I was sitting here last night. Maybe down in the lounge?
I feel like I hear like popping from down that way.
You hear popping?
Like a sort of similar to like what the drips were like yesterday. It was probably just building related.
Hear traffic?
That was the FLIR.
Car going by.
When Nick and I were in 2 West, we wound up hearing an array of different sounds, a lot of like dripping on different surfaces or little clicks here and there, like taps here and there, coming from really all over the building.
Are you a resident here at Hillview? Or are you a member of the staff?
Is there a man named Angelo here with us?
Did you hear that? Sounded like a voice.
Oh no, that I didn't hear that. I heard more of the sounds that we were hearing before.
That was a thud.
It was.
Sounded like a door. That was loud. Is there anybody up here? Is that you making those noises? We continued to hear a lot of sounds while investigating 2 West, and I decided to get up just to see if I could find a source for some of the noises. Oh, hang on now. Just heard something next to me. Got some water on the floor, dripping on a bucket. I'm willing to bet that's what we were just hearing. A lot of damage up here on the ceiling. Yep, that was it, right there. There's a bucket getting dripped on near the Schneider's apartment.
Oh, okay.
Makes a pretty loud noise. All right, well, I've only got a minute left here. Been up here for about an hour. What do you say we head back downstairs and regroup?
Sounds like a plan.
Is anybody here? We were just letting everybody know in about 5 minutes or so we're going to be playing some music up on the 3rd floor.
We'll be taking requests if you'd like. A music response experiment or an audio response experiment is when you find a location, you go to a location and you play some type of music or audio recording to try to elicit some type of interaction or paranormal activity. You really have to be kind of selective with the type of audio recording or music you're choosing. A lot of the time it's used if you have a certain era or time period, you play music from that time period.
Here we go, guys. We played music for over half an hour, then sat at opposite ends of the floor to observe for a while. Miranda sat in the hall, and I sat in what had been Joe Miller's room, where people see shadow figures.
Did you like the music we were playing?
Is that you, Miranda?
Nope.
Just heard a little noise outside in the hall. Are you moving around, Miranda?
No.
Is there anybody out in the hallway?
If you want to check some of those rooms back there, I feel like I was hearing something from the back room over there, but it was only like once.
Outside 307.
Hello?
I heard that.
Is there someone down the hall?
I'm going to sit down next to you.
Cool.
How many people are here with us tonight?
Is there anybody up here that needs something or wants some company?
If there is anybody up here, would you be able to walk up to the meters we have on the floor in front of me? It's weird, I just got like a burst of static.
On the handheld?
I just heard it on the bionic ear. That was weird, I could have sworn I just heard whispering.
From where?
I don't know, but it almost sounded like two people.
Huh.
Like talking to each other.
There's so many different sounds.
Hearing sounds down there. There's movement all
one that I
over
was
the
talking about
place.
is that way. But then I did hear something from that way right before you asked.
Well, what do you think? Ready to wrap it up on this floor for now?
Yeah.
Head back down, regroup? We decided to end our investigation with a final EVP session in 2 West, and we used a minimal setup like I had on the second night. Hello again, this is Nick and Miranda. We were here a little while ago. Angelo, are you here? Did you hear that? That was metal banging. Hello? Yeah, the garbage is still outside. They definitely haven't picked up the trash yet.
That's not what it sounded like yesterday, was it, though? I mean, because that didn't...
Not exactly.
That sounded lower, probably, right?
It sounded higher pitched
Yeah.
than what I heard yesterday. Tell you what, Miranda, it is just about 3:30.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot of footage. You got a lot of gear to break down. You wanna think about calling it?
Sounds like a plan.
If you guys did try to talk to us, thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. I've really enjoyed my time here. And I definitely want to come back someday to see this place again and hopefully talk to you. And did you hear all that?
I did. You guys saying goodbye to us? Is that what that is? Good send-off.
So we're just getting ready to begin reviewing our evidence from the Hill View Manor investigation. We were there for 3 days back to back, and while we were there, our equipment was left running for nearly 50 hours. So we've got a ton of video, a ton of audio, a lot of thermal imaging, and of course our baseline readings. We've got to go over all of this material extremely carefully over the next couple weeks, and then compare that data with the eyewitness reports.
As far as Hill View Manor as a whole, I think that it was a phenomenal location. The building was just so great, like your typical what you want for a haunted place. And the staff was great. I mean, Rochelle and Jim spent so much time taking us around on the tour, and they really were very informative.
Alrighty, so Hill View Manor, what a place, man.
Seriously.
Jim and Rochelle were pretty cool too, gave us a great tour. And I found them to be pretty credible. I mean, they definitely seemed to believe honestly in the experiences that they told us about and what they had witnessed in the building. One thing, obviously, the first day we were there, we spent a lot of time looking for alternate explanations for the claims of activity. I'd say, I mean, right off the bat, one of the biggest explanations for why people believe the place is haunted is just the overall condition of the building.
Yeah.
It's drafty, it's dark, it's spooky looking with the peeling paint and the wheelchairs and hallways and that sort of thing. And I think that sort of spooky atmosphere and people who know the history of a nursing home and people died there, it just sets you up to have a paranormal experience.
And just tricks of the eyes too, because when you're walking around the halls at night, you know, or even during the day.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things Rochelle told us about in 1 North was they see like shadow figures allegedly peeking out of doorways and even walking up and down the hall. And one thing that I noticed when I was going over footage, just B-roll that we shot for the episode, there's a part where I'm at the nurses station in 1 North and I'm just taking some B-roll shots and I pan to the right. And there are some doorways in the hallway, and you can actually see kind of the light shimmer on one of these doorways. It almost looks like someone kind of moving in and out of a doorway, which is exactly what they say people experience there. So I think you're right. Tricks of the eye and light play probably plays a huge role in a lot of people's experiences there.
Yeah, for sure.
As far as our baseline readings, all the environmental conditions that we looked at, temperature, humidity, electromagnetic fields, radiation levels, they all stayed more or less within normal parameters. A lot of our meters were left to data log for hours, and they didn't seem to record any unusual fluctuations. While we were there, though, we did have, obviously, a couple interesting things happen. Second night of investigation, when I was sitting alone in 2 West. 2 West is obviously what's known as the noisy hallway. That's what Rochelle called it. Could you come shake my hand, please? Okay, that was a loud noise. And I have to say, after sitting up there for 15-20 minutes in the dark, that place totally lived up to its reputation. It was a noisy hallway.
Oh yeah.
Again, these could just be building sounds.
Yeah.
It was a place that just made a lot of ambient noises. When we were doing our follow-up investigation of that area on the third night of the investigation, you and I both heard it was a similar sort of metallic sound.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bang.
Did you hear that? That was not a bang.
Like if you took a wrench and, tapped it on a pipe, like ding, lots of different sounds there, especially if you're not used to it.
There's no way of really discerning whether what you're hearing is just the building or if it is in fact something supernatural. So you're kind of stuck a bit in the middle. I mean, based on the time we spent there and the data that we collected, I don't think we can really deem Hill View Manor as a haunted location. Actually, I think it has a lot of factors working against it.
Yeah, it definitely has a psychological element to it. Like, it's a creepy place, it's an abandoned building, it was like an old nursing home and things like that, so it definitely has that psychological factor to it. But deeming it, paranormal, I think that we definitely need to go back there and try to do the best that we can and creating a more, as controlled as you can get. See if those sounds happen again.
Sounds good. I think we are in agreement there. Hill View Manor was an awesome location for me. I mean, a dark, abandoned hospital that's like a playground. We did come back with some interesting experiences and a ton of information. But based on that information, I still don't think we can label Hill View Manor as a haunted location.
As far as Hill View Manor being haunted, the standard CPI motto is to kind of do 3 investigations before we make an allegation or a claim like that. It's definitely an interesting place and we're really excited to go back.